You just come into your RV after setting up and you notice the whole thing feels just a little unstable. Let's talk about maybe some ways that we can make this whole unit just a little bit more solid. And we're going to start right now. Welcome back, everyone. My name's Patrick and I am so glad you stopped by today. Now, if you're here for the very first time, my guess is you were doing a search either in Google or on YouTube about, hey, my RV just seems to be unstable. It's a little rocky. Every time I get up and walk, we feel the whole RV moving and shifting. And so today what I wanted to do was share some of my years of experience in owning RVs. We started way back in 2005 with a 13-foot teardrop, and we have owned everything all the way up to a 35-foot fifth wheel. Currently, I'm standing in our 2024 Alliance Avenue 29RL. Now, this thing's about 33 feet long, and it can feel a little wobbly at times if we don't do certain things to try to stabilize it. And I want to share with you all the different methods that you might be able to use to make your RV just a little bit more solid when you're inside and you're walking, that type of thing. Because the last thing you want to do is get up in the middle of the night to maybe go use the restroom and the whole RV's a wobbling and you wake everyone else up. So let's go ahead and start by heading outside where we can maybe start to solve this problem. Now, you probably already know that your RV is going to have stabilizers or levelers on it, and that's the first place we're going to start. Now, we should define the difference between stabilizers and levelers. Now, most travel trailers come with stabilizers, and this here is an example of a stabilizer. These are designed basically to put a little bit of pressure between your RV and the ground. They are not designed to be load bearing for the purpose of leveling your RV. This is the leveling system on our Alliance RV, and it is designed to be load bearing. So these can actually be used to raise and lower the trailer for the purpose of getting level, but at the same time, they too will help to provide some stabilization. Now, our fifth wheel only has the 4-point auto level system on it because it's a 33-foot RV, but some RVs like this particular Alliance Paradigm, which is about 41 feet in length, it actually has what's known as 6-point leveling. So you end up with 3 of these stabilizer levelers on each side of this big RV. That too can help take out some of that sway inside your RV. So what else can we do to help take some of that wobbliness out of our RV? Well, I'm going to show you several different items that you might want to consider to try to help make your RV more stable. Now, you may notice this front landing jack has a rubber pad on it. That's what's known as a snap pad. Now, we really like snap pads. We've been using these since 2020. They are a permanent mount to your landing gear or your stabilizers or whatever you have on your RV. And what they do is they'll give you just a little bit more of a footprint, a little bit wider. And that is going to help slightly, but it's not going to solve your problem. And an alternative that a lot of people will use are these, what I like to refer to as Lego blocks. You can buy these, they're plastic. They do come in different colors, but you can stack them up and these will work to go under your stabilizers or your leveler. There are alternatives, including these little red buckets that people will carry around. They're a little on the pricey side as well, similar to snap pads. I don't care for them because then I have to put them down and put them away each time, and they take up space in my outdoor storage. That's why I prefer the snap pads. Like I said, the downside to snap pads though is the fact that they don't really give you the height that you might get out of one of those little red buckets. But you're looking for a cheaper alternative to red buckets and snap pads? Well, this is a very common solution, and that is a simple wood block. You could go to your local hardware, buy some wood, cut it up, and you just carry those with you, and they will stay right here under your stabilizers. Now, one thing I should mention with stabilizers, one of the reasons we want to put something under them sometimes is because if there's a long distance between the stabilizer and the ground, the more you have to spread these scissor jacks out, the less they're going to do stabilizing. So by using something like a wood block, that will work. Now, if you're going to be at a site for a long period of time, you might also consider concrete blocks. Those can also be a good alternative to creating that height that you need. I've actually used this thin concrete block because we are seasonals here at Happy Acres Campground in Angola, Indiana. And even though we do travel throughout the year, we are here for long periods of time in the summer. And so by putting this thin concrete block down against this freshly laid gravel on our site, It just helped to give us a more firm surface, and when we put these down, we actually could tell a difference in the RV. Now, I know you're thinking, gee, Patrick, this is pretty obvious that we need to put something down under our stabilizers or our levelers to help create a better surface contact. What else you got that might help me get some of that shakiness out of my RV? Well, let me show you. I purchased these this summer on Amazon, and I'll leave that link down below in the description for you. Now, the name brand that everybody recognizes for something like this is X-Chock. This is an off-brand that we actually picked up over on Amazon, and the way these work is if you have two axles like we do, then you can go ahead and spread these out and then kind of tighten them up against your tires, and that is going to help to keep your tires from having any movement in them. And for you fifth wheel owners, you might notice that the front of your RV is kind of like hanging freely over the ground, and that is going to potentially cause some shakiness, especially up in this area. This is a tripod stabilizer for a fifth wheel pin box. Now, all you can see here, it's pretty simple. It's just a tripod. It goes right up to the pin of your fifth wheel, and then you can extend the legs to put some pressure between the ground and your fifth wheel pin. Now, this is not for load bearing again. It's strictly to try to take a little bit of the bounce here from the front part of your fifth wheel, and that could be an alternative. Years ago, we actually owned one of these, used it for a while, and then I switched to something different that actually I thought worked even better in terms of the overall wobbliness of our fifth wheel. Now, I'll show you what that product is in a moment, but first I want to show you a product that could work for a motorhome, a travel trailer, or a fifth wheel that I think could be an affordable solution to solving our problem. And you can see this one just mounts to the bumper of the RV if you have one. Now, this product's from MoreRide. You can see it just goes right into the hitch there, and then we have legs coming down on both sides, and then we just use this ratchet stretch type of cabling to hold it in place. You snug that up nice and tight, and that's going to help. Now, there is another style that you can use both back here and maybe along the side of your RV. My friend Jerry from Happy Place Diaries did a whole video about it, and I'm going to go ahead and link that video at the end of this one so you can check out that product to see if that might be a better alternative for you. This is not necessarily an affordable solution, but it is a solution that I have used in the past and it works well. This is the JT Strong Arms, and you can see here that these just mount to the frame of your RV and then to your landing gear or your stabilizers. It's a fairly easy install, and it's a device that is fairly easy to use. You'll see right here we have this pinpoint where we tighten down on. This is a sliding arm right here, so we go ahead and loosen that up when we pull up our landing gear, and those are going to stay in place during travel. When you put them back down, then we go ahead and tighten down, and you can see it creates a nice triangular position for your stabilizers or landing gear with the frame. Now, you can also put these on the rear of the RV as well, and that's what we had on our 2008 Keystone Cougar 35-foot fifth wheel. We had used these before. They work excellent, and I'm thinking about getting them again. The only real sticking point with the JT Strong Arms is the cost involved. They run about $500, at least that's what I saw online. They are a Lippert product, but like I said, we've used them in the past. They worked really well for us, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be getting them at some point here in the near future because we are going to be living in our RV full-time next year, and we want to make sure it's a very comfortable space for us. Now, one thing I want to remind you of is after you've set up your RV, maybe the next day, you may want to consider going out and just putting a little more tension on your stabilizers or your levelers, because what we have found is if you're parked on grass or you're parked on gravel or something like that, that the ground will actually settle a little bit overnight. And so sometimes you can just take a little bit more out of the wobbliness just by putting a little more tension on them. I would love to know, what are you using to keep your RVs from rocking when you're inside them? Leave those down below in the comments, and until next time, everybody, we will see you on down the road. Bye.
Travels with Delaney. We'll see you on down the road.